So I've been going through the process of selling off a lot of stuff that I don't use anymore. And I went into one of my closets and I was able to find all of the old Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I had. So, for I guess now more than 20 years, they've been sitting in a closet. And, when I was a kid, Pokemon was really big in third grade, and then it was kind of not cool to play with them when you were in fourth grade, so you went over to Yu-Gi-Oh! As that was the thing. So I just kind of wanted to go through this and show you what I have, and then kind of go through the question that I have now after the fact. So a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards I took out of here and made like a deck to play it. So these are kind of the ones that probably are not anything super interesting. But, when you're a kid, you go through and you ask your parents for all these, and the artwork is pretty interesting stuff. Especially now looking back at it. And, I watched the animes as a kid as well, and, it's all stuff that was there. So, I always kept mine in fairly good shape. I put them into the binders and never really touched them after that. I was more into the collecting stage than actually playing the games. But, I did organize them a lot, so they're not like in perfect quality. Like there's a lot of scratches on them and everything else. So then after that, I have a bunch of Connecticut basketball cards. I don't think are worth anything. But here's where it gets interesting. So these are all of the Pokemon cards, and when I was a kid, I went away for vacation one summer, and when I came back, that's all that everybody was talking about. So I organized it by basically, element, so all the fire, water, etc. And, so there's a couple of stories in here, right? So everybody's favorite was usually Charizard. This, I know, is some sort of fake. I think I bought it at a card shop when I was younger, and then some kid stole it, and then I got it back. But I think even the fake ones can sometimes go for money. But this is pretty beat up because, it got stolen and taken out and everything else. But kind of neat little history on there. And so, I have a lot, mostly Generation 1. There's a first edition Dragonite here, a couple of other things. But my favorite Pokemon were always the electrical Pokemon. So like Magneton was one of my favorites. So I think one of my friends was really into collecting the Japanese ones. So I think I got that off of him. And then some of the psychic ones too, like Mewtwo was pretty cool for me. It's interesting. There's only one line of Ghost Pokemon in the first gen. Sorry, I got a little bit of the sniffles for some reason. But I bought this one at a card shop. I think I remember paying quite a bit of money for it back then. Like 30, 40 bucks or something like that. Bunch of other stuff. Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan. Lapras. Misty Seadra. I think of the cards that are in here still, most of them are, not worth anything, but of the ones that are left, anywhere from like $40 to $50. Some of them, like the Dragonite, or I think even the Lapras or whatever. So, all these kind of cards, and I guess my question is that, there is some sentimental value for these, in the sense that, I collected them as a kid, but they also sat in a closet for 40 years, and it's not like I look at them every day. So I guess my question is like, okay, so how much of it do you keep around, and how much of it do you get rid of? Because what I'm going to show you next is kind of where I'm at. So one of the cards that my friend is really into kind of sending in cards for grading, mostly for sports, but I have this Blastoise here. I think these go for a little bit, like I said, $50 or $60, but this one's not in great shape. But out of all these cards, we looked through and we chose two that are kind of worthy for grading, and maybe you saw where they're missing from the binder. So 1 second on that. So like I said, we went through all of the cards in the binders, and I checked sold eBay listings and everything else. And then we sent them in to Beckett for grading. And the reason why I chose Beckett over like PSA is, you know, I'd rather spend $25 for the card if I think it's worth it, and not have to do the upcharge or anything like that. So the first one that you might have noticed is that I have a Dark Charizard, which at an 8, according to like some eBay listings, they're worth about maybe $100 in that kind of condition. So it's an 8 because you can see that the corners are not the greatest, and there's some surface. Mostly it's the corners and edges, so there's a couple of nicked edges. But I have this other card that I think I got much later. I don't remember if a friend gave it to me or maybe one day randomly I opened a pack, and I was able to get it. And it's the Shining Tyranitar. So I think this came into my life when I already transitioned to like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or something like that, and I no longer thought Pokemon was cool. Now this is a Shining Tyranitar. It's not a first edition, but it came back as a 9, and because I think it came along later, I put it in the sleeve and I never even moved it. So the condition of it is very, very nice. And checking eBay listings, and these go for about, you know, $2,500 to $2,700. Most of those I'm checking as a PSA 9, but I think even with the Beckett grading, it's the same. And now it comes down to the question is, you know, this sat in a closet for 20 years, and I never really looked at it, but, you know, it's kind of bittersweet in a way that this is now worth so much money that I don't really feel like I want to hold on to it, in the sense that I'm now feeling like responsible for it. So like if it ever got damaged or whatever. That's kind of the weird part, right? It's like it would be nice to hold on to it, but now it's gotten to the point where it's worth so much that maybe it's time to get rid of it. And so at least now it's sleeved. I really haven't made a decision yet on what to do about it. Part of me is like, well, let's just get rid of it. It's not really in the generation of cards that I have a lot of nostalgia for. It's not like Gen 1 or anything like that, but it is pretty interesting. And it's definitely, you know, it was a lot of time, right? So the backlog for grading stuff is months now. So I sent this in, I think in January, and I just got it back now. It's now June. You know, not really sure what to do about it. Like I said, it's kind of strange, right? Something that, you know, if you went to the store and you saw a couple packs, you ask your parents to buy some packs, and then, you know, you put them away. But now a lot of these things have gotten to the point where, should I keep it or should I get rid of it? And I'm thinking what that price would be. You know, $2,500 can pay for a lot of things, right? Like you can get an e-bike, or you can go on a trip, or, you know, pay for food or whatever. So it's definitely a welcomed windfall. It's just kind of weird that these things are now worth so much. I don't know if it's nostalgia or just induced demand, but it's very strange times. So I hope you liked that little insight and some history. I went over it kind of fast and I filmed it really bad because I'm doing it on my phone. But yeah. And this dude only weighs 445 pounds and he's got armor and stuff. So it's, I don't believe that number. Length? Huh. Anyway, so cool. Well, I hope you liked it.